Hello and welcome into another pregame show. What's going on? Matt O'Leary alongside Connor Long. Connor, how's it going today, my friend?
Matt, doing well. Hopefully the Jets can prevail with a win. They snapped the 5-game losing streak with a win over the Texans. A lot of fans thought they'd turn a curve, however, that was not the case. 31-6 loss in Arizona to the Arizona Cardinals. Gotta hope that something clicks here and they get back in the win column.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, I know I was picking Arizona. I believe you picked Arizona as well
Yeah.
in that game, but I don't think either of us thought it would be that kind of performance. A 31-6 game that was literally over from the first drive. They marched right down the field, and you could tell it was just going to be one of those days where the Jets never got off the bus.
Yeah, I think the main turning point for me, Matt, was when Sauce Gardner missed that tackle on Trey McBride. I thought that, that had an opportunity to get the Jets offense on the field with a wave of momentum and, get out there and try to start something. Also, when they went for it on fourth down and then they didn't get it, Rodgers fumbled. It was just not pretty overall. And, they couldn't make big plays, which really simply cost them the game. Kyler Murray, they let him do anything he wanted. So I think this Jets team needs a win for, bigger reasons than just to keep those postseason chances alive. I think this locker room needs to get back on track, and I think that's one of the biggest things.
They definitely do need to get back on track, and I'm not, even if they win today, and I'm sure you're not either, but I was just going to put out there, like, if they win today, my thoughts of them turning their season around is not there yet. They're going into a bye after this week. They've been horrible after rest, so my expectation coming into the Seattle game is not going to be very high. This is one that I think we can get into with the Colts. It's a game that I think they'll have a chance to win. I do think, though, it is a big deal that they made the quarterback change and are going from Joe Flacco to Anthony Richardson for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Richardson is someone who, supposedly quit on his team just about 3 weeks ago, and they threw Flacco in, the veteran, former Jet. Didn't really do much. I think they expected a spark, kind of what Flacco did last season with the Browns towards the end of the year. That didn't happen. Now Richardson's back in at quarterback, and I think it's a very favorable matchup for Richardson and Jonathan Taylor. You look at this team that missed 20 tackles last week, tied for the most by any team this season. They can't stop mobile quarterbacks. We saw it firsthand with Kyler Murray. I think that's why one of the reasons is you got to pressure Richardson. Played a few games last year before getting hurt. Played about 7 or so games this season. So you got to pressure him, and when he's under deluge, he struggles. So apply pressure and keep him in that pocket.
Yeah, they definitely do need to keep him in the pocket because you look at his passing numbers and they haven't been all that great since coming into the league. But this year in particular, he's completing just 44% of his passes, which is just an incredibly, incredibly low number. But with his athleticism, and he has a really strong arm, like the layups and give me throws, he makes very, very challenging. But he has an absolute rocket, so he can, hit a 50-yard pass down the field with ease and move around and extend some plays. But the consistency from him as a passer, just like I said, is not going to be there for him yet. But him as a runner, like this Jets run defense has been horrible all year. Their tackling in particular, this last game against Arizona, missed 20 tackles, which is just not acceptable. Yep. I think that's going to play a really big factor in this game. If they are performing at a level in which they did close to last week, he's going to have a huge day.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonathan Taylor, he's, another weapon in the ground game. So I think if you contain this run game, pressure Richardson. You mentioned him having a strong arm. We saw it firsthand when he was at Florida. He's an incredible athlete, but now are those big plays that he made at Florida, his athleticism, is it able to translate to the NFL, and is he able to do that on a regular basis? So just, creating havoc not only on the outside, but also on the interior. I expect a big day out of Quinn Williams. I know the Colts offensive line's a little banged up, so I think this defensive line needs to take advantage of it.
Yeah, they definitely do. It would be a nice thing to have a bounce back day from the defensive line. I felt like they weren't really getting all that much push in the game. Kyler Murray had so much time. He had 2 incompletions in the entire game. Just an absurd stat line against this Jets defense. It was a particularly tough game for Javon Kinlaw, who jumped off sides a couple times. Michael Clemens also exposed in the red zone a few times with him over pursuing. What else is new, unfortunately? But I'm hoping that they're able to play similar to how they played against the Texans or against the Patriots earlier in the year. It felt like the defensive line was finally humming, but they went cold this past week against Arizona.
Yeah, and I another thing, Matt, is I just think this team needs to get ahead early. If they set the tone, they come out with a touchdown. This team needs momentum for the remainder of the game. You look at the Texans game, they came out flat in the first half, dug themselves into a deep hole. They ended up coming out of it, but I think the Patriots game during week 3 is the best example. They played complimentary football for the first time, and they played 60 minutes of football, which is what you need.
Absolutely. So we got the first caller on the line. You want to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's get to it. Doug, who else would it be? Doug on the bed. How's it going, buddy?
To be honest for a second, I apologize for the language, but who gives a shit what happens today,
Wow, you just summed up what we were going to get into for 45 minutes into 3 seconds. I think we
exactly.
I apologize for the language and stuff, but who gives a crap? Who really gives a crap about what happens today? No matter what happens, this game is not going to affect the mood for the rest of my day. I just don't care anymore. Obviously I care about the Jets. That sounds a little messed up. But this season, it's again, I said it. Being at the Patriots game, it broke me. I thought that was it. And then obviously last week, I think we're gonna end up winning today because it's just. And also, if we win today, I want to make a petition for us to move to the AFC South because then we'd be 3-0 against the AFC South.
I like this idea.
So maybe we could just swap with I don't know, the Titans or something and
Jaguars.
South, because at this point we'd be 3-0 against the AFC South if we win today. So just a thought. And then,
so Doug, you mentioned this game doesn't really matter to you. Then what are you going to watch? Are you rooting for this team to tank, or do you still want this team?
I still watch every game. Obviously, I'm not going to get upset because do I think we're going to make the playoffs? No, absolutely not. But we still are mathematically alive. So at this point right now, I'd say a win's better than a loss. So, but I don't care either way.
It's too early for me to get into they should be losing for. There's so many games left. You're only setting yourself up to be disappointed.
I mean, it's November 17th. We're already talking about the draft.
And knowing the Jets will win games that we're not supposed to, and just win a couple games. So I doubt we're going to end up picking in the top 10 anyway. Knowing us. So
yeah, watch them go 8-9 and miss the playoffs and have the 17th pick or something like that.
I'm not going to think about that right now. That's not my chief concern of the issue. I just. Again, I'm going to watch the game because I watch every game. Next week's going to be a great week, guys. Let's just go with that.
Yep.
Don't worry about anything. It's a bye. Just watch Red Zone. Not to worry about it. The Jets can't affect their day.
You want to hear my plan for next week? I'm pretty excited about it. So in the morning, I'm going to do the outdoor Christmas lights at the house. And then my plan is to finish up right in time for the 1 o'clock game.
Time out. You can't put up Christmas lights before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, I'm usually a wait till after Thanksgiving guy, but the bye week is just lining up too good. When else am I going to be able to do it?
Make a one-time exception, but that's blasphemy putting it up before Thanksgiving.
And the weather's still nice. What am I going to do? Wait till it's 30 degrees and freeze my ass off?
I get it, but I'm just saying, Thanksgiving is a holiday, that
it is. It is. I'm not pro. Usually, I am let's wait. Black Friday is in my mind the start of the season.
As soon as you're done eating your Thanksgiving dinner, that's when you can start putting up Christmas stuff.
I was not expecting this kind of pushback from Doug. I thought it was going to be oh, that's a good idea. That's a good way to spend your morning.
I mean, I'm also Jewish, so Christmas lights don't mean anything to me. But
so then what's your say in this? Come on now, Doug.
No, I can say you can put them up too early. Come on, that's you can definitely put them up too early. And then another thing, I feel the latest you can have them up is 3 or 4 days after the New Year. That's the latest you can have them up.
Wow, quick hook. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it if you want to have them around the New Year, but if you keep it deep into January, if they're still up in February, you're a crazy person.
Yeah.
I said maybe a week into the New Year. So now we're not off by that much.
I don't want to see your Christmas lights year round. That's crazy. Let's get a move on, folks. But sorry, that was yeah. Okay. Connor, there's someone behind you.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Doug.
I don't care what happens. I'll watch the game. But I do have to put the game because I'm in Boston, so I have to find a stream so then silence the notifications during the game so I don't get stuff spoiled for me during the game.
Oh, on Twitter, yeah.
But at this point, it's who cares?
If it gets spoiled, it gets spoiled.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm usually like a couple plays behind, but yeah. Also, just in general, it's not the best slate today. It's kind of like
Well, I mean, you have the Chiefs-Bills game at 4 p.m.,
you
which
have
is
the
going to be a
Ravens
great
Steelers-
game.
the Ravens Steelers, but otherwise, it's either you're having the good teams play like bad teams, and then just a lot of
Yeah.
average.
Yeah, there's like two good
Lions, Jaguars.
blowout.
It's not.
Lions are 13.5-point
Yeah, that's
favorites.
ridiculous. Like I would have a hard time. Like I think the Lions are going to win, but I'd have a hard time betting the 13. That's just me. Like I don't like betting plus 10 spread.
I think they'll win by 3 scores today.
I don't. I just when you get over 10 in the NFL, those like I get a little iffy about those.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from on that.
It's like we're in college where like there's such a huge talent gap in the
Oh
NFL.
yeah.
Everyone's an NFL player on it. Like they can be good or bad. Still, everyone's an NFL player.
Well, in college, you see like the 48-3,
Exactly.
games. So
In the NFL, you don't see that often. So
yeah, absolutely.
but yeah, no. Like I said, from the get go, who cares? Who gives a crap? Like, let's just watch it. If they win, they win. If they lose, it's like okay, Again, I'm already broken. This team can't do anything. And I said it earlier this week on Jake's show. You can no longer go into watching this team with expectations ever again.
No, God, no.
Ever again. Because let's think about it. I would say the last fun season we had was 2022. Before that, I wouldn't say we had a fun season because 2022, like we didn't have any expectations going into the season. It was like okay.
It was 7-10.
The one thing was like, oh, maybe Zach will get better. That was like the one thought. Obviously, that's not what happened. And then he got hurt in the preseason game. It's the first 4 games. But like all these wins came out of nowhere. We didn't see it coming. We got off that incredible start, and then obviously it faded down the stretch. But like that was fun. Last year it was like, oh, we got Rodgers. We're gonna do it now. We're gonna do it now. 4 plays, season's over. This year, okay, Rodgers is healthy. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We start 2-1. Things are cooking. Downslide ever since. Terrible. I'm never going to this team with expectations again because if I give this team expectations, they're just going to disappoint me. So, like,
You have a score prediction for today before we get out of here, or you're just
He's 1-1 without giving one. He's 1-1 without giving a score prediction.
Who cares? One team will win, one team will lose.
I love it.
Doug, appreciate it.
Try to enjoy the game today, and I'll send you. I'm going to send you a picture of the Christmas lights going up next Sunday. How about that?
All right, you can do that, and I'm going to respond with, "This is still too damn early."
I love it. Thanks, Doug.
Appreciate it, Doug. Great stuff.
Always a good time. As always, we got to go out to another call. Now, his team's got a big game today. King Jamie the Mad, our favorite.
There he is.
Hey, guys. I'm trying to do as little as possible today. Just cooking up some ribs and stuff.
Oh,
good stuff. Yeah, man. So I wanted to say, Connor, I love the haircut, buddy. Wish I still had hair.
Man. Appreciate
this
it.
This is the new toupee.
Works just as good.
Heck yeah. So I really think the Jets got a shot at this. You guys are only 2 games back. I mean, seriously, you guys can get a wild card. You just catch up 2 games. And all the doubting and all the hating and all the saying, I want to tank, that is foolish, man. That's foolish. Love your team. Man, love your team. God dang. I loved the Chiefs the whole time they sucked. I mean, 40 years of it. I mean, my birthday's in 2 days, and I'm in my mid-50s. And I got to tell you, it was a lot of sad, sad times. But always kept the faith. Always kept high hopes, Tanking is for fools. You don't say that, man. You don't say you want to tank. I think you guys win 28-20.
Ooh.
And maybe a couple of the guys that say, I want to tank, maybe they come back and start saying, hey, we got a chance finally, I mean, put it out into the universe. If you put something good into the universe, it comes back tenfold. It really does. It did for me, but it was a lot of prayers. It took a lot of prayers.
Yeah, it clearly worked for you. Now you're living in a golden age of football right now with your Chiefs. I'm hoping that's maybe what happens with our Jets. Like, we went through this and still are in this longest active playoff drought, and then you hire the right people and
draft a quarterback.
Yeah, get a quarterback.
I mean, yeah, I'm literally living my childhood fantasy here. I mean, I never thought this would happen. Yeah. I mean, I never thought we'd even get a Super Bowl in my life. And it's coming, you guys. The sun will shine on you. It really will. And
that's the great part about being a fan.
Patient.
That's the great part about being a fan. Like, Imagine, Matt, when we see a Jets playoff game for the first time, if they don't make it this season in 14 years, it's just going to feel incredible. It'll be my first
You're
time
gonna
ever
love it.
watching a Jets playoff game. So
it's crazy.
it's just going to feel so good.
It's so crazy to me, Connor, that you haven't seen one. I feel so bad because it was different for me, growing up. The first, 15 years of my life, they were in the playoffs a lot in the 2000s and won some playoff games. And then from I don't know, age 16 to now I'm almost 30. It's been nothing. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I was alive. I see the comment here from the Meadowlands swap thing. I don't know if Connor ever remembers witnessing a winning season. The only time I've been alive for a winning season was the season where they went, I think, 9-7? And they still didn't make the playoffs. I think that was 2016 or 15 it was.
2015, yeah.
And I didn't even watch football then. So since watching the Jets and actually, rooting for them, the best I've seen them go is 7-10.
Oh, that's
jeez. Is it you?
I think I might be the curse.
No. Don't ever do that. Don't.
That's so.
No, seriously, man. Just keep the faith, Connor. You'll get there, bro. You'll be really happy too. It's pretty cool. And I promise, within the next probably 10 years, you're gonna see the Jets go on a dominating run.
You gotta hope.
I mean, it's all set up, bro. It's set up. Hopefully, you guys get a great new coach, and things just start falling into place. That's what it took for us.
I think it all starts with really, hiring the right people, drafting that quarterback. We've seen over the past, since since firing Rex and Izdick, really, it's been this 4-year cycle where you get the head coach and GM, the 4 years ends, new head coach, new GM, and it's just been this ongoing cycle. And I think it starts with, bringing someone in like a Todd Monken, like a Mike Vrabel, and then, as for the GM, someone like a Ray Agnew. Someone I'm hearing a lot of is the Browns assistant GM, Catherine Hickman, who was a finalist for the Vikings job just a few years ago. So you got to bring in those guys, and then a lot of it depends on how the Jets draft getting that quarterback. I think a lot of what had to do with this Aaron Rodgers experiment is that very like Doug was saying, that unexpected 2022 season where Jets were playing. They did go 7-10, but they were playing really fun football. They were such a fun team, and I think
that reminds me, bro. You guys, somebody in your comments said something about tanking to get a quarterback or whatever because hiring mercenaries doesn't work. That's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate. And Rodgers has really let you guys down. I'm surprised too, because that guy's a GOAT, I mean, he probably should have. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say he's coming off a torn Achilles too, so that's going to hurt his mobility. And he wasn't someone throughout his whole career in Green Bay where he was the Lamar Jackson type player where he relied on his speed, but some of his best plays in the NFL came from him, evading pressure, getting out of the pocket, surveying the field, and then connecting with Devontae Adams on those, connecting with Robert Tonyan, Devontae Adams on those deep balls. So I think that Achilles injury, I think a lot of people expected, well, he doesn't use his legs much. He's not, this rushing quarterback. I think it affected him a lot more than people thought because, like I said, some of his best plays come from using his mobility to get out of the pocket, survey the field, and make his reads and connect.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, man. I really do. And I think a lot of it has to do with coaching. I don't think Salah should have been fired midseason. That's crazy.
He's a scapegoat.
To me. Yeah, scapegoat, total scapegoat, right? And that just reminds me of the 49ers when Shanahan screwed up so bad that they lost the Super Bowl to us, and then he blamed his DC. What the hell is he doing? I mean, come and take some blame.
The defensive production has dipped a lot since Salah left. I think that just goes to show, Ulbrich he's a good defensive coordinator, but I just think it might be too much for him. And as we know, the day he got hired, he was not expecting that whatsoever. I don't think anyone in the organization really expected that. So I think it's
wasn't expecting it, man. I think I was as shocked as Salah. I was just like, dude, if I didn't have Spags, I would take Salah as DC right now, instantly, right now.
Yeah, he's going to get a job as a DC.
Maybe even a college head coach, something like that. But if he wants to stay in the
league. I don't know if DC would ever make a good head coach because Spags tried it too, bro, and it did not work.
Yeah.
So
it always seems as the offensive gurus are the ones who have a ton of success in the league and getting the right people in.
They have to have that DC, bro.
Yeah.
Because even Reed wouldn't be squat without Spags, And I mean, Reed is an awesome head coach, but without Spagnuolo, we would probably not even have any rings,
Yeah.
Maybe one.
Yeah, but he plays, like you
Yeah.
said, he plays such a huge factor in it. And even the
Big
Giants Super Bowl, like he was such a big part of that. That's why he got the head coaching
Yeah.
gig. What was it, St. Louis before
Yeah.
he ended up? So
Good.
I'm with you. I think he plays a huge factor. How are you feeling for this game against Buffalo for your team?
Yeah.
Honestly, man, I think everybody jumping on Buffalo bandwagon is kind of just hating. They're just upset because the Chiefs are doing well. This is probably this is the third time I've seen my Chiefs get almost 10 wins, in my life. And so I'm like pretty excited about it. I really think that the Chiefs are the better team, even with all the injuries. And if you look at the stats, we've got them in every category except for they can pass just a little bit better than us, but not much, not much at all.
Yeah.
And our defense is the second in the league. I mean, you're not gonna
Elite.
run the ball on us, and you're not gonna pass very well. You're gonna get some yards, but my boys are gonna shut them down. I really got a feeling the Chiefs are probably gonna win by 7 points or more.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking like 27-24, like something like that.
I was thinking,
29-20.
In that same
Okay.
range. I was thinking around that same range. The Bills are, I think, 1.5 point favorites. It is, but they're also home, so that's gonna you
Right.
normally get the 3 points as the
We beat the Buffalo Bills the last 2 games at their house, though.
exactly.
In the playoffs.
That's why I think the biggest thing for any team, even you're the Bills, you're the Ravens, dethroning the Chiefs, not only from the undefeated record, but as the reigning AFC champions, because
Right.
there are so many good there. The AFC East, there are poor teams at the bottom, but it's front loaded when you look at it with the Chiefs, with the Ravens, with the Bills. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson, I think he has a real shot to an MVP this season, but his biggest thing, he's what is it,
honestly,
1-5 against Patrick Mahomes, so kind of getting back in that win column and beating Mahomes is the biggest thing
Right.
as not only a quarterback but as a team right now in this league.
But do you really think the Bills can take the Ravens? I mean, really?
I think the Ravens are so good.
The Ravens are damn good, dude. That's about the scariest team in the AFC, really.
I think
Other than
I was gonna say
Go
if
ahead.
the Chiefs don't make it back to the Super Bowl this year, I think it would be the Ravens who beat them. I don't think it's gonna be Buffalo.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know what? Honestly, I think the Bills might lose first round unless they can somehow beat us and get a bye. I don't think they've got the moxie this year, man. They haven't beat the good teams, and that's all that's going to be in the playoffs. It's not going to be any scrubs. It's not going to be, oh, look, we got 47 points against them. No, you're not going to do that.
Yeah,
I'll be really surprised if the Bills get 24 points today. That'll be shocking because we have such a good defense. I got a feeling they're going to be shut down about 20 points.
Okay.
And I think the Jets and the Chiefs are both going to have really similar scores and both win. Put that in your book.
I hope you're right. I hope there's a quick game for the Jets. I want to do a quick post game, and then by the time I'm finishing up, your Chiefs Bills game will be coming on. I'll have in Red Zone on the rest of the afternoon and evening. It's gonna be a fun day.
I'll be there with you, bro. All right, boys. Have a great day. Good luck.
Appreciate it.
Hey, man.
Same to you. Yeah, Matt, I think this team needs a win. Not only it's for my sake of watching football too. I don't know if it's the same with you because obviously after every game I do my post game show, but after that I'm just like so pissed off on the outcome. I can't even enjoy watching the 4 p.m. games.
Yeah, I feel that, and this is gonna sound really messed up, and I'm sorry again that I'm gonna have to do it to you. But it used to be so much fun when the Jets would win a lot and in the 1 o'clock slate, and then you just enjoy football the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Like, I used to love watching football on Sundays. Now it's like I let this team affect my mood way too much, Connor. I fall into that habit. Like the Patriots won a few weeks ago. That was horrendous, and you were pretty down bad too. You called into the post game live that I was doing. I did a long post game. There was a lot of call-ins and people.
Yeah, from the beach gallery too.
Exactly. So I had a 2.5 hour drive home after that. Just
my God,
I missed.
It's why you're like driving back from MedLife.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
But I really yearn for the days where you could watch a nice Jets win, be happy, and then be like, okay, I'm going to enjoy consuming football the rest of the day now.
Yeah, it would have been the Texans win or the Patriots win, but first off, I was at the Patriots game, and then both of them were on Thursday Night Football, so it wouldn't have worked. Wouldn't have
Exactly.
worked out either day. So get a nice Sunday win here. Even the Titans game, I didn't feel so confident after that. Make a statement, get a statement win, score 28 points. Rodgers go out, show shades of his vintage self. Brees Hall have a big game. Just the whole offense, I think, getting on the same page, and then the defense with the tackling and stopping the run game.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. The defense is going to have to do a much better job against the run today if they have a chance. I think they do have a chance. I picked on my video during the week. I know we were a little early here, but I'll say it anyway.
Yeah, of course.
I picked the Colts 22-17. So I think it's going to be a tight game. But I'm thinking low scoring, and they'll have a chance with the ball at the end of the game.
Yeah, I'll give a spoiler alert here. I won't share the score prediction, but I do have I'm picking the Jets this week. I do.
Okay. I hope you're right, and I have all the respect in the world for you. I can't get there after what I watched last week, and maybe that's just my own bias and depression getting in the way from this team.
Yeah, it's hard to lose to the Colts. It is. It's hard to lose to the Colts. So what is that? I saw the graphic last week. They've Jets have scored 3 points on all of their first drives this season. So come on, you got to get out early. I think if the Jets win the toss, I think you got to get take the ball first.
Yep.
Try to get on the same page, because the Jets have tried the halftime thing, but by the time we got halftime and got the ball last week, we were dug into such deep of a hole it didn't even matter. So take the ball if they win the toss and go out and get things started on offense really quick.
I like it. You want to get to our next call?
Let's do it.
All right, we got Billy up next on the line. Billy.
Billy.
How's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I can't hear you though, guys. Some wrong with my audio though.
You got me?
Yeah, I just want to say I've been on the Jake Asman show a lot. I spoke to your dad, Connor. What's up, Matt O'Leary? A long time. His first time actually. But I want to say is, what do you guys think if the Jets do consider Rex Ryan? It's not that he's not my first choice, but I feel like he wants to be here. Get 2 fat guys to stop the run, right? Maybe get a safety. Look in another QB just to to sit down by Rodgers and maybe start planning for the following year. What do you guys think of that?
Matt, take it away.
Yeah, so for me, I appreciate that Rex is he cares about
For some reason I can't hear you guys, so I'm gonna have to look at the YouTube channel, but I definitely want to listen to you guys.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm having audio issues.
Yep.
I'm sorry about that.
All good.
All good. Thank you, Billy. Yeah, sorry. You can listen to our answers on the YouTube. But I was gonna say, with Rex, that's not really the route that I want them to go. On the positive side with him, he genuinely cares about being a New York Jet and wants them to be wants to be here, wants to be their coach. But I need more than that from a candidate. I just think after his first couple of years, when he started to get his hands on the personnel a little bit more, things started to go poorly. His stint in Buffalo didn't go very well. I don't know how well his defense works in the modern NFL. He's definitely a motivator guy, but I think he's best suited for his job on ESPN.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna try to pull up here my I have like a tier list I made, Matt. I saw you did it on Talking Jets, and I was watching, so I came in and I kind of copied what you guys were doing here. Let me see if this is it.
Share it.
Let's see if I can try emailing it to myself. Perfect. This is it. I'll pull it up on the screen right here. Kaboom. Right here. So I have Todd Monken, the Ravens OC, Mike Vrabel, and Ben Johnson all in the A tier. This was before Gruden. It's before Gruden signed with Barstool. And Matt, I know you're not a big Gruden guy, but I did have Gruden in the B tier there alongside Cliff Kingsbury, Kevin Stefanski, and Brian Dable. Obviously, if Stefanski and Dable were both to get fired, and then in the C tier, with Brian Flores, Deion Sanders, Rex Ryan, Aaron Glenn, and then D tier I put Clint Kubiak. Didn't have an F tier because I didn't think any candidate was terrible. So I thought they all stood a fine chance. The reason I put Brian Flores and Aaron Glenn in that in that C tier is it doesn't have to do with them necessarily as a coach. I think it just has to do with me not wanting another defensive-minded head coach, as we all know. Those have just gone to failure. The past few times we've done that. So thoughts on the list, and what would you change there?
Yeah, this is a pretty solid list.
Thank you.
I don't think Ben Johnson is going to choose the Jets. So
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
but he would be in my A tier, I think, but a little bit lower than probably most people would have him.
Mhm.
I think he would be like 4th for me. Is this in order? Like, is Monk?
No. I just put them all. Actually, no, it's not in order whatsoever. I just put them in separate tiers. So no, like on the top, I want Monken though. I think right now probably Monken's my number one option.
Got it. Okay, so
Yeah.
I would move Stefanski up from the B tier to the A tier for me. And I think I would move Brian Flores from C up to B. Other than that, I think
I understand
pretty
that.
much on the same page.
Yeah, I'm a big Colorado fan, Matt, so I know Dion firsthand, and I think Dion's a great coach. I love him, but I would do anything for him not to coach the Jets.
Yeah, I was talking with my fiance's parents came over yesterday, and her dad's a big Jets fan.
Yeah.
He loves college football too. And I was saying that I think, but with both Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders, like I think there's a chance that both guys can be successful at the next level. But I just don't love the idea of the Jets being like, okay, we're going to bring in Deion and Shedeur, and that duo is going to save our franchise. Like, I just feel like that's steering into the chaos of this team. And I don't know if that's what's actually going to get them back on track. So it just scares me a little bit. That's all.
Yeah, I put Rex in the C tier. After thinking about it, I probably should have thrown Gruden in there, the C tier, just because Rex has been out of the league for so long. And if he were to come and coach the Jets, I think it would probably be a 2-year thing where it's just, a filler for the next head coach. So I couldn't see Rex coming here. If he came here, I couldn't see it being for long. I like Dable a lot. I really do. Just because of his offensive scheme, and I trust him to bring in the right guys. Ideally, I want someone who's been a head coach in the league before. So Vrabel, the only exception I will make is, the Monken or Ben Johnson. Those are the two guys I like. But a Vrabel, a Cliff Kingsbury, a Kevin Stefanski, a Dable, even a Flores, or, if things go haywire, possibly Rex. So I think this is kind of what I thought when I consider all things from, what side of the ball they have most experience with, paired with NFL experience.
Yeah, it's I like how you laid it out. And like I said, we are pretty close in our thought process there.
Yeah.
Just a few minor tweaks that I would make. I think my top 3 in order would probably be Vrabel, Stefanski, Todd Monken.
Wow. So Vrabel, Stefanski, Todd Monken, and then you said Ben Johnson would be in B for you?
Yeah, I think so. And my thought there is there's no question that he is a great offensive coordinator and a great offensive mind. But I don't know if he would be able to come in to this team and be like the culture guy to get them back on track.
I think Aaron Glenn could do that. I think he is.
Yeah, because Aaron Glenn's been here before. But I get why people are so worried about going the coordinator route on the defensive side. Like, at least with Vrabel and at least with
Vrabel's a defensive mind, if we want to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at least with them, they've been proven that they could be head coaches at this level. Glenn, we don't know. And also with Ben Johnson, we have no idea if he could be a head coach yet.
Yeah. Matt, before we pull up today's inactive list, I do want to get your thoughts. One final thing on the head coach, this is about the GM here, Ray Agnew. He's one of the GMs we keep hearing time in and time out. I've had to really dig at everywhere I possibly can for GM candidates this offseason, just because, it's a lot harder to find the path for a general manager compared to a head coach. So Ray Agnew, he comes in and he's the general manager. Could you see something? He's the GM. He recruits someone like Glenn or Ben Johnson, and then they're the head coach of this team.
Yeah, I could see something, like that, or someone coming in some sort of duo,
Yeah.
package. Like maybe it's an assistant from the Chiefs. I really don't want to see Matt Nagy come. Like I know
Oh
he
God,
wasn't
no!
on your
Please,
list.
please,
He
please.
might be in the F tier, as well as oh my God, Mike McCarthy. I just did a video on him yesterday. Those two,
I'd
I
put
think.
him in D. I'd put him in D.
Okay. So a slight bump up
Yeah.
from where I am, which is fine. But yeah, maybe if Agnew, I think, is going to be a candidate that's looked at closely for this GM job. And pretty much what you just look at all the good teams who's been pretty, good for the last few years, and look at their assistant general managers, and they're likely going to be the guys getting interviewed.
Yeah, absolutely. Now let's pull up today's inactive list per ESPN's Rich Cimini. Here it is. No major surprises. Tyron Smith, CJ Mosley, Jake Hansen, Jarek Bernard Converse, Braden McGregor, Izzy Abanaconda. Matt, thoughts on this list? Mosley, I saw a comment up here. He's this leader on the defensive side of the ball, and his 2024 campaign has really just been riddled with injuries. When do you think we can expect him back? And what does the loss look like for this team week in and week out?
Yeah, it's really it's too bad with for me with CJ Mosley being out right now. I do think they miss him a little bit in the run game. Tyron Smith being out at left tackle,
I don't mind it.
What'd you say?
I don't mind it.
Yeah, obviously this is not me saying like I'm rooting for injury or anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that. But I'm excited to see what Olu Fashanu can do at left tackle, because that's what he was drafted as, and I think that's where he's going to end up being long term. He played a little right tackle, played a little right guard, but in training camp in the preseason, he's looked best at left tackle. So I'm excited to see him get a full day at that position today.
Matt, Tony Adams is benched today, according to Rich Cimini, put out in an article earlier this week. What does that mean for the rest of this safety group?
Yeah, Chuck Clark is back. So maybe a Chuck Clark, Jalen Mills combo, the two veterans at safety. Unfortunately, Tony Adams is someone who misses a lot of tackles. Like the Jets as a team, that's been an issue. But for me, I think it's the safeties coming down and not being great, being able to wrap guys up. Going with the veterans, I think they'd feel a little bit more comfortable, but almost feels a little too late. Like, I don't know how much this is going to really impact them going down the stretch here.
Absolutely. Everyone smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to both of our channels at Matt O'Leary NY, at NY Flight Jets Talk. Questions, comments, super chats, submit them in the chat. Open phone lines if you want to call in. The pinned comment for both of our channels. Let's see what we got here. Matt, I saw your reaction to this in the comment. Go Yard Beast. I regret buying an Aaron Rodgers jersey this year. He also made a comment. David made a comment on a Devontae Adams jersey. Matt, thoughts on the jersey selections there? I have a Tony Adams jersey. Wearing my Jermaine Johnson jersey right now. I'm not the best jersey buyer here.
No, I've had a ton of swing and misses over the years as well. I am not. I had a Sam Darnold jersey. I had a Zach Wilson jersey. I have an Aaron Rodgers jersey. Can't really say that they've all been super successful. I think I'm trying to think my most random. I got a Le'Veon Bell jersey. That really.
Oh, I have two Le'Veon Bell jerseys.
Okay, see, so
Yeah.
I have. I'm not one to talk. I have a closet full of jerseys that I wish I didn't get.
Yeah, I have a Garrett Wilson 17 jersey. Well, no, Garrett's panned out, but it's just annoying that I have the 17 one. Obviously, change the number to 5. Like literally the day I bought his jersey, Matt, the day after that, he announced he changed his number. It was insane. See, we do have a gifted membership here on the NY Flight Jets Talk YouTube channel from the Austrian Jet Fan. We really do appreciate that membership. Went to Sharon McLean. Appreciate all the support here by the number one Austrian Jet Fan. Our guy, Dakota. Tyron Rodgers are too old. Chuck Clark is injury prone. Tony Adams can't tackle, just like Sauce. Sauce is simply terrible. He's a real disappointment. Quote, Apple Sauce.
That's a little harsh. Sauce is simply terrible. Are we just gonna throw out the first 2 All-Pro years? He hasn't been very good this year. I think it's fair to say that Sauce Gardner needs to be better, and that he needs to give a better effort with his tackling. But I think this is a little over the top.
Beth Page, Chris, Matt, I can't do another culture guy. I want to score points and be creative on offense. I'll deal with losing a 30-27 game.
I get it, Bethpage Chris. And look, I'm not saying I don't want Ben Johnson. Like, I'd be excited if the Jets hired him as their coach. One, I don't think he's coming though. But number two, he wouldn't be at the top of the list. And I'm saying I'm slightly down on him. Like, he'd be like my 4th or 5th favorite option instead of my number 1 option, like he is for most people. So I'm not saying I hate the guy, but there's a couple other people that I would put ahead of him.
Now, how do you see the rest of the staff shaping up? If Rodgers were to come back and play next season, you think, Hackett's still here on the staff? We know he's not calling plays, but is he still on the staff? Could possibly see Todd Downing back as the quarterback coach, but I don't know about, calling plays if a new head coach comes in. I couldn't imagine Ulbrich coming back because, I think he'll go somewhere else, and that's obviously going to be at the discretion of the new head coach. Thoughts there?
Yeah, for me, with Rodgers, I don't think should be like up to him who the coach or the staff is going to be. I think like if he wants to be here with whatever the Jets decide, great. If not, then I think you move on. Like, I don't want to run back like we're going to run this thing through Aaron Rodgers show. If he wants to come back and play in 25 and the Jets don't want to deal with the $49 million, cap hit that would be to move on from him. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like I can understand that. But again, for me, like I think they should let the new head coach pick his staff and try to just build a better staff on both sides of the ball. I know this last regime had a really impressive defensive staff, but over the last 4 or 5 years, the Jets have had one of the worst offensive staffs in football, and it just needs to get better.
Yeah, I mean, and so I see Garrett Wilson up there on the screen. It's almost unfortunate. You look in these past 2 seasons, he's had over 1,000-yard seasons with, Zach Wilson. Now we've seen him not necessarily struggle a bit, but his production has dipped this season compared to where he was the past 2 seasons, yardage-wise. So got to hope for his continued success and get the right staff in. A lot of it depends what are the Jets going to do with the 2022 draft class. Breece Hall doesn't have a 5th-year option compared to, Jermaine Johnson, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner. So that's a huge question mark. But to revert back to Sunday's game, Matt, my favorite segment of our show, Hot Take.
Okay. So my hot take for today, last week I said that Breece Hall would have a 40+ yard rushing play for a touchdown. I thought no, it did not happen, but he ran the ball.
The Jets didn't have a play longer than 15 yards. One play didn't go longer than 15
Unfortunately
yards.
not. He only had 10 carries, but he averaged over 5 yards a carry. So that was exciting. What am I going to do today for I'll say the Jets get a really random touchdown score today. I'll say Irv Charles touchdown. How about that?
Irv Charles touchdown. I mean, if you picked that during, week 7, I think it was against the Steelers, you would have been very, very close. So, in Irv Charles touchdown, love to see the lines on that. That must be insane. Yeah, I was way off on mine. I said Hassan Reddick 2-sack day. I think Reddick played a quarter of the defensive snaps. I think he played like 20 snaps or 15, something like that. So nothing from Hassan Reddick, but this week, I'm going to shift over to I'm going to go back to the defensive side of things. Chuck Clark with an interception. I think, he's, at the top of the, top, and, the Jets defensive line, they cause havoc. They bait Richardson into making a dumb decision, and Chuck Clark comes in, uses his ball hawk capabilities, which you saw, from him in 2022 with the Baltimore Ravens, and he showcases that today with an interception.
I like that. I'm not familiar with this term interception. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, or takeaway.
Yeah, the Jets. I don't know what the Jets haven't done that this year. Would be nice. It would be nice. Give me a Chuck Clark interception in his return. Sign me up.
Yeah, man. Chuck Clark interception and an Irv Charles touchdown. Matt, imagine what a parlay the odds would look like on a parlay for that.
We'd be rich. I don't think we'd have to. I don't think we'd have to do this show anymore. We could just go watch this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Get some questions in the chat. Go Yard again. I don't like Nick Wright, but man, he was spot on about the Jets this season. Also, Matt, did you see he thinks Rodgers should be released?
Right now or after the season? Right now. Okay. I wouldn't release him right now, but I'm not against releasing him after the season, just because I don't know what a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers is going to look like on this team. Maybe if they get the GM and coaching hire right, it looks better, but it's been a slight disappointing for Rodgers. I would say he's probably somewhere around the 20th best quarterback in football.
I think he's bottom 10.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so between 22 and 30 ish, roughly.
Yeah.
You're gonna bring that back at 41? I guess, but
Yeah, it's so tough to see because have you seen if they just flat out release him, just outright release him, the cap hit is insane. I don't know it off the top of my head, but the cap hit is insane. They also owe, I think after this year, it's like $80 million in dead cap or something insane like that. So what I was thinking is you kind of just, if I'm, the new GM who comes in, I would want to kind of just eat that head on, have a 2, 3, 4 win season next year, and then you just start fresh in 2026, the second year of that new regime. What are your thoughts on, maybe doing something like that?
Yeah, I think if you were to do it, just bite the bullet and do it. Don't spread it out over the 2 years in 25 and 26. They can save themselves a little bit, so it's $49 million.
Yeah, something like that.
But if they release Devontae Adams, that frees up 30, and he doesn't have any guaranteed money on his deal. So they'd still end up around, I believe it's $80 million in cap space. They still have work to do. They have a lot of guys on expiring deals. It's not going to be pretty, but it helps you get ahead a little bit of that 2026 year that everyone's so concerned about.
Absolutely. I completely understand that argument there, Matt. Will Morris, many times after games, Rodgers was moaning about certain plays that were called by Mike LaFleur. Mike LaFleur ran the whole thing, and occasionally, rarely 12 would change it accordingly.
Yeah. I don't understand the context of bringing this up with
about calling the play calling last year compared to Rodgers with the delay game calls. I think is what Will's trying to say. Him taking too long to change the plays at the line of scrimmage.
Okay, so yeah, so I guess he's saying the Jets need a better play caller. I agree.
Yeah.
That I agree with. Although I do think Todd Downing's done a better job than what Nate Hackett's done. But I don't think Todd Downing's back. I think they have a completely different staff on that side of the ball.
Absolutely. Let's see. A little lower leverage question here from Beefy. What about special teams coordinator or Jets getting a new one? Matt, do you think Brent Boyer survives the next coaching change? No. Wow.
No, he survived for a long time, but the special teams has taken a massive hit this year. They haven't been very good. I don't think Brent Boyer survives another one. He goes back to the Todd Bowles era. He's been here a long time, but I don't think he makes it.
Yeah, I think Anders Carlson it is who's kicking for the Jets today after they decided not to give Spencer. Well, to give some context here, Rich Cimini did say the Jets offered him a spot on the roster, but he decided to go kick for Kansas City for the next 4 weeks with Bucker out.
Yeah, they could have kept him on the roster.
They could have just out. Yeah, they. I agree. They could have just before, just ahead of the game, they could have just flat out signed him. I think they were trying to do, their crazy roster gymnastics like they do all the time with the 3 practice squad elevations per season, then you sign him. But, I mean, he got the Jets their only points last week, and he hadn't attempted an NFL field goal, so I don't know. I don't know how it works. We'll throw one in here from Dose of Jay. You guys think the Jets win today for my birthday? First off, Jay, happy birthday. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you tuning in the chat. Matt, is it I know you predicted the Colts to win, but you think it's likely the Jets find a way to come out on top?
I think they can win. I truly think this is a coin flip game. So I'm going to say 50-50. They have 50-50 chance. I'm picking 22-17 Colts, but I wouldn't be like when I come on and do the post game, I wouldn't be absolutely shocked that the Jets won if they were to win, but I just don't think it's going to be like this blowout, runaway, dominant performance.
Yeah, what was your score prediction? Sorry, Matt, you cut out there. 21-17?
22-17.
22-17. So you have 22-17. I'll throw mine in here now. What am I going to go? This is tough. Jets are 4.5-point favorites. I'm going to go Jets pull out with a win. I'm picking them this week. I'd say 24-20. 24-20. my score prediction here for the Jets Colts game, approaching here in about a little over an hour. It's going to be a really interesting matchup, though, Matt, because there are so many variables that go into this. It's so hard to predict with the Jets, because who expected the Jets to miss 20 tackles last week and just have Kyler Murray do everything he wants, create no pressure whatsoever? I mean, it's so unpredictable with this team. It's so hard to make predictions for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it is very hard because we don't know what you're getting on a week-to-week basis, Connor, and that's what makes it the most challenging, I think, for me when making these predictions is, they could have a second half performance like they did against the Texans, look about as good as they have all year, and then come out and look maybe the worst they've looked all year against Arizona. So the swings from this team is just incredible. I think, they play better at home too, so that's another positive that if you're looking for a win today, that's something you can hang your hat on, but they need to start faster and just not let things get off the rails for them.
Matt, isn't it crazy to think this game was supposed to be on Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, thank God they flexed it out. I could not imagine waiting for Sunday night for this game, man.
Yeah, what was it last? So I had to wait for the 4 p.m. window last week, but I honestly like when the Jets play on Monday night or Sunday night or Thursday night, just because I can actually just focus on my fantasy team the whole day and not have to worry about it. And then the Jets have the standalone game, but it is kind of nice to get back in that 1 p.m. window for the game. But everyone, smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to both of our channels at Matt O'Leary NY at NY Flight Jets Talk. Submit your final comments, questions, super chats, open phone lines. If you want to call into the show, it's the pinned comment in both of our chats. Matt, we're approaching a little more than an hour away from game time now. Any final expectations you really have for today that you didn't express?
Not really. I think we hit on most. I'm concerned about Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson going up against this Jets defense. We haven't talked a ton about Jonathan Taylor in this episode yet, but he's ran the ball really well when he's been active. And I think, if I'm the Colts and I watched the tape last week and I'm going back to my young quarterback who's been horrible passing the ball, how are you not trying to run with Jonathan Taylor 20 plus times in this game? That would, to me, would be my game plan.
Yeah, and I think Richardson and a quarterback paired with Taylor hurts the Jets because we know Joe Flacco can't move. I said it leading up to the game, I want to see Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers in a 40-yard dash. Who would win that? That would be a fun watch. But now you bring someone in like Richardson, you can run that read option with Jonathan Taylor, and Richardson does have a strong arm. Reminds me a bit of Kyler Murray, kind of the way he plays. I don't think he's as talented as Murray, but their play style is similar. That kind of run and gun offense, if you will. So I think containing you pretty much nails it. Containing Taylor and Richardson, forcing him to beat you with his arm, I think is really the main thing for today's game. Dose of J, what do you guys think is happening to Sauce? Matt, you had a bit of an altercation with him over Twitter this week. Thoughts on Sauce there?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Sauce. My theory was that he was playing hurt this year because he left the first game of the year against San Francisco. And there's been a few occasions this year where he's had to leave the game and come back in later. But the tackling effort is just not there for me right now. Unfortunately, when I watch him, teams are purposely running at him and he just can't make the plays.
Yeah, absolutely. I think my thing is we've never seen a cornerback, Matt, in NFL history where they just gain that respect after 2 years in the league where no one looks their way. No quarterback will even think about throwing them. They get all the calls in the world. But now quarterbacks are really starting to challenge him. Like, okay, how good is he? And he's getting exploited when the ball comes to him. I think that's it's the biggest thing right now.
Yeah, he is, unfortunately. He's talented. Like, I'm not selling all my Sauce Gardner stock. He's had a bad year. I'm not going to come on here and lie to you and pretend that Sauce hasn't been, not up to his standard. But at the same time, I think, if we're going to ignore the first 2 years, that seems a little silly. They don't have to give him a contract after this year. They can see how his fourth year plays out, but it feels a little reactionary to just completely ditch him after this year. That doesn't say that he's, that he can't be criticized. He absolutely can. I think, the effort, especially on that third down play that you referenced as the turning point of the game was not there, but I don't know. How do you feel differently? Are you out on Sauce?
No, I'm not necessarily out because we can't throw those first 2 seasons out the window where he was a first team All-Pro, but I mean, it's pretty safe to say that his production's dipped tremendously this season. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as saying he's been a liability for the team, but he hasn't really, done incredible things yet for the team this season. The tackling, poor coverage we've seen, several times. So you got to hope he turns it around. But it's now fans are questioning: do we give Sauce the extension? I don't think he's worth that. That crazy $30 million a year extension that he's most likely going to ask for. So when all said and done, I think they end up franchise tagging Sauce after. Well, no, they pick up his 5th-year option, then they go from there with Sauce and what they have to do moving forward. Dakota wants to see Sauce versus O'Leary UFC 481, kind of similar to the Buffalo Jet fan tweet saying you and Sauce in a Oklahoma drill.
I'm ready. I don't know. He'd probably get the best of me. He's a professional athlete. I'm a washed-up former high school baseball player. I think he'd get me. But, I'd give him my best shot. I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely, Matt. We're approaching up here on the 1 hour mark, about an hour here away from game time at MetLife Stadium. Jets versus Colts. Looking like another pregame show in the books here. Matt, any final thoughts?
I hope the Jets win their football game today. It's not going to change how I feel about their season, but I'm a lot happier after wins. So I hope the Jets make me happy today.
Jets deliver a win, a much-needed victory. Smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to both of our channels at Matt O'Leary NY, at NY Flight. Jets Talk, Matt O'Leary, Connor Long, and we will see you next time right here on our Week 12 pregame show next week. Take care.